For nearly 2,000 years, one city stood at the center of the world. Empires rose trying to control it. Armies crossed continents to conquer it. Entire civilizations collapsed at its gates. It survived Viking invasions. It survived Arab sieges. It survived crusades, betrayals, plagues, and some of the largest armies ever assembled. And yet, somehow, the city refused to die. This is the story of Constantinople, the city that survived history itself.
Long before it was called Istanbul, before emperors and sultans fought over it, this city was just a small Greek colony called Byzantium. At first, it seemed insignificant, but its location was almost perfect, sitting between Europe and Asia, surrounded by water on 3 sides. Byzantium controlled one of the most important trade routes on Earth. Anyone traveling between the Black Sea and the Mediterranean had to pass by it. And eventually, the Romans noticed. In the year 330 AD, Emperor Constantine made a decision that would change history forever. He moved the capital of the Roman Empire here. The city was renamed Constantinople, and almost overnight, it became the richest and most powerful city in Europe. Massive walls surrounded it. Gigantic churches rose into the sky. Gold, silk, spices, and treasures from across the world flowed through its streets. At a time when most European cities were poor and chaotic, Constantinople looked almost unreal. People called it the Queen of Cities. But wealth attracts enemies, and soon everyone wanted it.
For centuries, Constantinople seemed impossible to destroy. Its greatest weapon wasn't an army, it was its walls. The Theodosian walls stretched for miles, layered with massive stone defenses and towers. For over 1,000 years, they held. Again and again, enemy armies arrived, believing the city would fall. Again and again, they failed. Arab armies tried to take it. The Bulgarians tried. The Rus Vikings attacked from the sea. None of them could break through. And every failed siege made Constantinople feel less like a city and more like a legend. But while enemies attacked from outside, something even more dangerous was happening inside. The empire was weakening. Corruption spread through the government. Civil wars drained the treasury. Political betrayals became normal. And then came the betrayal that nearly destroyed everything. Not from Muslims, not from invaders, but from fellow Christians. In 1204, something unbelievable happened. The Fourth Crusade, an army originally sent to fight Muslims in the Holy Land, turned toward Constantinople instead. Christian soldiers attacked the greatest Christian city on Earth. The walls that had resisted centuries of invasions were finally breached. What followed was chaos. Churches were looted. Libraries burned. Ancient treasures disappeared forever. For days, the city was destroyed by the very people who were supposed to protect it. Constantinople eventually recovered, but it was never the same again. The empire had been fatally weakened, and in the east, a new power was rising: the Ottomans. By 1453, Constantinople was dying. The once massive empire had shrunk to little more than the city itself. But even then, its walls still stood, and many believed they always would. Then, Sultan Mehmed II arrived. He was only 21 years old, but he had one obsession: conquer Constantinople. To do it, he prepared something the world had never seen before: gigantic cannons. Some were so massive they required hundreds of men just to move them. When the siege began, the earth itself seemed to shake. For weeks, Ottoman cannons pounded the ancient walls day and night. Inside the city, Emperor Constantine I knew the end was near, but surrender was never considered. As food ran low and the walls began collapsing, thousands of defenders prepared for one final stand. Then, on May 29th, 1453, the walls finally broke. Ottoman soldiers flooded into the city. Fighting erupted in the streets. And somewhere in the chaos, the last Roman emperor disappeared forever. His body was never conclusively identified. After nearly 2,000 years, the Roman Empire was finally dead. Constantinople had fallen.
But the story didn't end there, because the city survived. Again. Under Ottoman rule, Constantinople transformed into something new. Churches became mosques. Markets expanded across the city. New empires rose from its streets. And over time, Constantinople became Istanbul. Today, millions of people walk through the same streets where emperors, crusaders, and sultans once fought for control of the world. Because despite wars, invasions, betrayals, and collapse, the city refused to die. And maybe that's why, after thousands of years, the world is still obsessed with it.